Hello, hello. It's starting the stopwatch time. It's a lot of adjusting. So, it's Sunday, the whatever, and I got a bunch of comics with my boy yesterday. We went to do our weekly pickup. And I was very excited about a few of them, so I wanted to do another video. So I think when I do finally upload these, there'll probably be 3. This will be the third of 3 videos. And let me just see the order here. Yeah, so just a quick word on a couple, and then some I'll go into a little more detail about. I'm just going to get right into it. Before Watchmen, the Comedian #3. A little more impressed with this issue as opposed to the last ones. I don't know, it seemed to kind of gel a little more, as where the first 2 didn't really work for me. There was too much kind of reality-based stuff going on, but I kind of like, you're starting to see a little bit more of the comedian's skewed viewpoint on the world and his role as like a quote-unquote superhero. The art was fine. Yeah, I have a little bit more high hopes for it. As I've said in previous videos, regardless of my thoughts on the Before Watchmen, I'm going to pick up all of them. So, yeah, 3 of 6, a little better. That's a brief word on that. Night Owl #3. I think that's 3 of 6 as well. 3 of 4, rather. The art in this I really dug. I'm liking this story. J. Michael Straczynski, Andy Kubert, Joe Kubert, and Bill Sienkiewicz. I'm not sure if Sienkiewicz is doing the last part of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So again, some kind of good themes, and as with all of them, they're all a little darker, and I kind of like that. Yeah, just kind of seems to be developing a little more. Those are the 2 that I just kind of wanted to briefly touch on. The 2 that I'm the most excited about, which I've seen in a couple of videos, which I have no basis for this character whatsoever. Hawkeye, #1, and #2. Their first printings, so I paid a little more. The first one was $7, the second was $5, and I see that they're, I think, $2.99 comics. So, you know, I paid a little more, but that's fine. I'm fine with that. And I gotta say, I absolutely loved these 2. And I don't know if that's necessarily because I'm coming from a standpoint of not knowing anything about the character, or very little. I mean, I know that as a part of the Avengers, he always wanted to break off and kind of have his own group. And I believe at one point he started the West Coast Avengers. Matt Fraction is one of my... I love him as far as like writing goes. I really enjoy his stuff. Aja, the name sounds familiar. I have to look to see what else he's done art for. The thing that really kind of clenched it for me was I'm a big fan of Brubaker's Criminal and Fatale. This really had that kind of feeling to it, as far as like, especially when it comes to pacing. You know, in these first 2 issues, sure, he gets into it a little bit, but I feel that it's really like a setup for something that's going to come down the line. I think the art was really reminiscent too, with kind of like a noirish kind of theme. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it just absolutely worked for me. I really enjoyed the story, and I added it to my pull list, so I'm going to start getting the rest of the issues. I thought it was amazing. I had it. Those were the first ones on the pile that I read out of all the stuff I got this week. Some that I'm not going to talk about today because I haven't read through everything yet. But as far as what I was reading last night, this was the first thing that I read, just out of curiosity's sake. And it really worked. Like the idea of him being kind of, you know, having all this money and kind of helping out his community and being kind of a superhero. I guess it's been touched on before, as far as like Daredevil is kind of, you know, Hell's Kitchen superhero, where he kind of really takes care of that area. It's a similar kind of thing with Hawkeye, as far as him taking care of the people in his neighborhood, you know. And it just feels like it's building to something bigger. I'm very, very excited to start this one. and so far, like I said, the first two have been an absolute hit. So very, very excited. And then let me make sure I picked up. I haven't been able to get down weekly to my comic shop just because of work. So I've been kind of backed up on a few things. So I'm sure it's been talked about already, but Fatale number 6 and Fatale number 7. Again, I mean, I wasn't sold early on with this series, but this is now, number 6 starts a new story arc with returning characters and a new character. Ed Brubaker can kind of do no wrong for me. Maybe that kind of skews my viewpoint of it, but as far as, again, it's all about, for me, it's all about the pacing, and I don't feel it was too slow. I don't feel there was too much information given to us right away in these first 2 issues of this new arc. I'm completely absorbed as far as wanting to know what happens next.